I'm going to be taking you guys through part 3 of my journey today, dealing with SIBO, leaky gut, 15 types of parasites, H. pylori, you name it. And today we're going to be getting to the root cause of what exactly the main issue was and what did I do to fix it. If you guys don't know me, I'm Elizabeth with ElizabethAylorFitness. I am a 4-year degree in kinesiology, CSCS, holistic nutrition, and a GAPS practitioner. So if you guys haven't watched part 1 or part 2, I will link everything below. Make sure to watch those first. There are so many things that I discuss about digestion, bloating, testing that you want to listen to before you watch this. So stop this video now, go watch it. And if you guys are back and you've seen part 1, 2, and 3, here we go. We are gonna get started. Well, part 3 is now. We're gonna get started today, and I took notes because I wanna make sure that I hit everything with you guys. So we left off, I said I was taking a step back from the marathon running, starting bodybuilding, and really focus on allowing my body to just heal and stop the cleansing, since I've done so much detoxing, colon cleansing, and all of that prior. So that's exactly what I did. So I took some notes, guys. I want to hit it all. So I started my bodybuilding journey, and during that time, I went back to school. I went back to school to Bowman College, and I became a holistic nutritionist. And then from there, I was doing tons of research about GAPS protocols, as well. I was working for like Bonafide Provisions and Vital Proteins, doing their field marketing and sales. So I was really into the benefits of bone broth, healing the gut. So I decided to go to Chicago, since I had, I got accepted first. So I applied to become a GAPS practitioner, which stands for Gut and Psychology Syndrome. It's healing your gut, the gut-brain connection, elimination diets, bone broths, and all of that. And I got accepted to the program, and I decided to go back to get my GAPS certification. So right now, I'm focusing on bodybuilding. My diet, I switched off of that keto, and I started adding in fish now. I started adding in grass-fed ground bison. I was just adding more food into my diet, but sticking more toward that bodybuilder diet since I started bodybuilding. So I want to break it down. So right now, the goal with everything for me was, number 1, with like education, career, I was focusing on learning everything with nutrition, getting my GAPS practitioner, getting my 4-year degree in nutrition, with my brand, building my brand, sharing education, showing people that you can do anything with my body. I was still in an eating disorder mindset. I was really focusing on self-love, working on myself mentally. I was dealing with a lot of trauma from the past, which I was just focusing so much on my mental health and just implementing new practices for that. And then with my gut, because I started bodybuilding and my goal always has been to like build that strong, amazing physique, I was tracking macros. So I went from more of an intuitive eating keto to getting with a coach that was helping me track my macros, and I just went to a basic bro diet of white rice. I was still kind of sensitive to things, so I couldn't do like the broccoli, the asparagus, the cauliflower, because it would cause gas because it's cruciferous. So I was just doing a meat source, which was like turkey, chicken, or fish, with like white rice, and then like coconut oil or olive oil, and like Swiss chard or greens. I kept it really simple with my diet. And my gut, in terms of supplements and how my stomach was doing, after doing keto for that year, and after stopping the whole protocol, I stayed on my digestive enzymes, and I'll link that below for you guys, the ones I use. But I stayed on my digestive enzymes. I stayed on like my L-glutamine to help heal the gut, magnesium to help with bowel regularity, and a few other, but those were the main 3, and my OptiGreens, the ones that I do there. And my stomach was feeling okay. During this time frame, during the next 5 years, where I was just immersing myself, educating myself, I focused on macros, so I was bulking. I bulked up to 180 pounds over those 5 years, up to 6,000 calories, and I was eating 500 grams plus to 600 grams of carbs a day. And I was lifting crazy heavy. My goal was to put on lean muscle mass. I'm an extremist, guys. You know, if I want to do something, I want to do the best of it. So I'm like, you know what? I want to build my body. I'm going to spend the next 5 years overcoming my eating disorder, learning to love myself, and putting on the muscle, putting the work in the gym. I was training 6 days a week, just hardcore. And I was keeping more to that bro diet and not doing any cleansing and just being like, you know what? My gut's okay. But the thing was, I stuck to those foods. I wasn't trying anything new. I was just like, I'm gonna keep a very basic diet since I'm eating a lot of calories. I know that these like 3 foods, the rice, whatever, protein, and the oil is not gonna irritate my stomach, so I'm gonna consume those. It's simple, it's easy. I don't live to eat, I eat to live to just move. I wanna fuel my body to perform. I was performing well, I was good. And I wanna check my notes to make sure I didn't miss anything. So I kept my diet clean. And I kept my diet super clean throughout the entire bulk, throughout the entire putting the muscle on. I was educating, building my social media. And like I said, as long as I kept my diet clean, my stomach was okay. I was still having to take a lot of magnesium to go to the bathroom because I would get constipation. I still had a lot of stress in my life. I was trying to do a lot of different things, as well as running 20 different companies for other people doing marketing and sales. So I was working 7 days a week, training hard. I was getting in enough calories to fuel my body, but I was doing a lot. And during those 5 years, I was just so focused on building my brand. I built my Instagram of those 5 years from 1,000 followers to over 100,000. At the end of those 5 years, decided I wanted to do a competition. I told myself I would never cut down and lose the weight and go into fat loss until I loved myself, no matter what the number on the scale was. So this wasn't just a journey with my gut. This, as you guys can see now, this was a journey of overcoming an eating disorder, overcoming fears, past trauma, stress, anxiety, all of that throws off your hormones. This leads to these issues being extreme. Like, all of these things led to my main issue. And we're gonna come up to it, I promise. I just wanna share everything with you guys. But when I felt like I was in a good place 5 years later, I lost 50 pounds. I did a few bodybuilding competitions. I still kept my diet very clean. I was still struggling with food sensitivities. As long as I stayed on my list, I was fine. But there was days where I would just get like severe constipation, have to take a ton of magnesium. I was never stable with my bowel regularity. And I couldn't add in a lot of foods. I was like super sensitive. If I did add something in, my stomach would swell up, gas, bloating for like a week. Yeah, wasn't worth it. So we're getting into it now. So I did 2 shows. I was feeling amazing. I cut the weight down, so I really wasn't noticing any extreme digestive issues because I kept my meals simple. And then COVID hit. And this is the boom. This is the relapse, but this is a relapse to something that I've never heard of before, and the main reason we are here today. So, during COVID, we all went through a hard time. And I went through a hard time myself, but I just had a different way of dealing with it than most people, since I am on Instagram and TikTok and everything, and I do have my business. And this was hard for me to kind of bring up with you guys, because I feel like sometimes, when you put your life out there, people, everyone wants to see everyone's highlight reels. Everyone puts up their highlight reels, but I didn't want to share this at the time because I was trying to be strong for everyone else. And I was going through a lot during the last, I would say, year and a half. and I kept quiet while I worked on myself and was making sure that I was able to stay strong for everyone else, provide everything to keep you guys strong throughout COVID, keep you motivated, inspired, having tons of workouts, and just everything you guys need to stay in a positive light, because there was so much negativity going around and I didn't want everyone to be caught up in the negativity. So I kept everything just crazy positive all the time, which I feel like is, it's needed. But during COVID, this is what happened with me. I was thriving. I got into a relationship. I was in love. I was cut down. I launched my business. My business was doing great. And then I went away to see my cousin get married. And the day that I came back with my, they shut everything down. They shut down the gym. I'm like, what's going on? I know this sounds crazy that like I was worried about the gym, but the gym makes me feel good. And my business, I have to put up content. So I was like, they're shutting everything down. My family, California is me. Florida was my family. So I was there. So when COVID hit, it hit me hard and my stress started going up. I wanted to make sure that I was able to provide, the workouts 3 times a week for my fans, yet everything was shut down in California. I'm not a home workout person. It's not my vibe. I was trying to just transform everything. My business overnight went from thriving to I almost lost it because gyms were closing all around the world. Nobody had anywhere to work out. And I'm like, I went and what can I do? They were shutting everything down and I lived in a weird area. Not a weird area. I lived in an area and when they shut everything down, the guy I was in a relationship with, we moved in together to be there for each other. I didn't have my family. We're in love. We got animals. Like, gosh, I got baby Tank. I love it. But during that time, I was just like, okay, what can I do? So I came together with a business game plan. I went into full blown, I want to help everyone. So I was working 7 days a week, 10 to 12 hours a day. In 1 month, I built my business back up, switched to all at home, but found a unique way to do it. I was working my butt off 24/7. Plus I had my one-on-one clients and I was just doing everything and I was trying to be on 24/7, which is, guys, it's not possible. And other things went on that I don't want to get into, but there were things that went on that got my stress and everything to a place of just complete anxiety. And this is hard for me to talk about because when I was younger, I was on antidepressants and I dealt with that a lot, but I was in a place of I would say mentally, it was such a bad place for me. I did not get back on antidepressants. I was doing meditation. I was doing meditation every day, working on myself, being there for all my clients, helping transform people. My business was being amazing. And I loved seeing all of my clients just feel amazing, push through COVID, coming out a stronger version of themselves. But I was just internally fighting so much. And my stress did this to my digestion, okay? I was eating the foods that I was okay with, my white rice, whatever. And then I started even having reactions. Like I would wake up in the morning and I would drink a sip of water and then my stomach would look 6 months pregnant again. And this happened with the H.PYLORI a long time ago, but I'm like, I can't have that back. I got rid of everything. And I started getting severe digestive issues overnight. COVID hit, anxiety went up. I would say within 2 months, my stomach went from being okay on its normal foods to the point where water would react to me. Oh, gosh, guys. During COVID, I tried everything. I would go a few days with no bathroom. Scale would go up 5-6 pounds. I would have a sip of water. Stomach would swell tremendously. I would be in excruciating pain. migraines. I was having sharp pain in my pelvis area. I did not know what was going on. I stayed on point with everything. I kept moving in my body. I was really trying, but during this period, I started dabbling with different diets. And during this time, I did a few different things. So I'm like, let me pause a second. So when I started getting these issues kind of again during COVID, I started to just use everything that I knew to fix it, but it was getting worse. And that's when I started trying out different diets. Back up just a smidgen. So when all the issues hit during COVID, first off, I was like, maybe my carbs are too high. They weren't, guys. Like, I'm used to this. So I brought my carbs down, I brought my fats up to make up for the protein. And then I'm like, you know what, maybe it's fiber. So I tried keto during COVID, keeping calories there, did not work for me. I tried different types of bone broth cleansing. I've done a GAPS protocol in the past I put myself through, but I always ended up having more issues with the bone broth that I'm gonna address later, which is why I typically don't do bone broth protocols. But I was like, you know what? Something's up in my gut. I'm gonna do like a bone broth protocol. So I started doing almost like a GAPS protocol again. I did keto again. I did a lower carb diet. I did lower fiber diets. And no matter what, like I would wake up, tons of water retention. My shorts, if it was baggy jogging pants, everything hurt me. It was a constant pain, and it was to the point where I was in tears every day. And if you guys struggle with digestive issues, you know that when you have something that's actually wrong in your stomach, it's not just a feeling of fullness, like internally something is not right, it is so painful that you can't get your mind off of it, and it becomes almost like an obsession. So during this time, I was trying to do everything with my business, be there for everyone. I was going through something that I'm not going to be mentioning with, but I was going through something. And then on top of that, I was dealing with all these issues. I didn't know what was going on. And I was like, again, I'm like, I got better. And I just went through all of this again. So during that whole time, I was researching, learning more, always educating. I'm a big fan of just, you never know enough, always educate. So when I'm not working, even when I'm working sometimes, headset in. I am listening, educating so that I can share with you guys everything I've learned. And this is what I ended up doing. I researched, I figured out what I thought the issue was, which is SIBO, and I found someone specifically to test for that. I had similar issues with the H.PYLORI, so I wanted to run another test on that. So I found a doctor to run these tests. SIBO, testing for hydrogen and methyl. I wanted to do a full GI maps test, making sure to check for histamine intolerance, leaky gut, even though leaky gut, so you can't really see the precursors on there, you can kind of just see antibodies. Also, I wanted to check for H.PYLORI again, and I wanted to check for candida, yeast, any types of parasites, all of that. So I did a full GI maps test, the SIBO test. The H.PYLORI test was included on the GI maps test. And I also ran a full, complete Dutch test to test my hormones and cortisol levels. And this is what I got back. In the past, I knew I had the H.PYLORI, the parasites. I knew that I had estrogen and progesterone issues because of my eating disorder in the past and losing my period, but I knew my body was ovulating. Already knew I was high cortisol. These are things I knew. What I didn't know was that the H.PYLORI that I got rid of came back. It wasn't as high, but it was back. And that was very defeating for me just because I spent so long to get rid of it. No longer had any parasites. The parasites had not come back, which was huge, guys. But because of stress, my hormones were so thrown off. Like cortisol off the charts, estrogen, progesterone thrown off, testosterone levels were good, body ovulating, all that, but my stress was taking a toll on my body, and my vitamin D levels were very low, and vitamin D is huge, guys, with healing, with gut, with inflammation. So vitamin D levels, but this was the biggie, the SIBO. So I figured out that I had SIBO, and this was like, I broke down, guys. I'm gonna be honest. I had that time frame where I was like, why me and now something else? But at the same time, I'm like, I need to switch my mindset. You know what? This is gonna allow me to help more people. And you know what? This is the reason. This is like something that I could fix. I'm like, I don't have parasites anymore. That's huge. Like, I have got rid of these things, but there was just the underlying issue, AKA SIBO, while that was the reason why I was just in that state of just swelling to everything, reacting to everything, chronic constipation, severe anxiety, sharp pain, just like indigestion on everything, acid reflux on everything, along with the H. pylori, and then the stress through the roof. Like, no wonder I was just like swollen. I was in constant state of cortisol, inflammation, and I had things attacking me. Like, so we created a protocol, and you guys know me. I'm a fan of fixing everything, and this was the protocol. And I did a lot of research. I came up with the protocol, but I also I took everything that I've learned in the past, and I made this one specific. So when it comes to SIBO and getting rid of SIBO, a lot of the times they put you on medications. And I'm not a doctor, guys. I'm just sharing my experience. Never do anything without talking to your doctor. You guys know that. But when it comes to getting rid of SIBO, a lot of times they put you on medications. I'm not huge on medications because I've done them in the past for H. pylori. My body did not respond well as they kill off the good and the bad bacteria in your gut, which can make things worse. So SIBO, small intestinal bacteria overgrowth, too much bacteria in the wrong spot, and this is what I did. So I know you guys are ready. So what I did was, when you are trying to get rid of SIBO, it's doing a mix of herbs, but also Google something called biofilms, biofilms. Biofilms are something that can remain present if you don't kill those off when you are getting rid of something like H. pylori, SIBO. It's like, what I believed from my issues is that when I did my protocols in the past for H. pylori, first off, I never thought that I could have had SIBO, and I think that I had SIBO all along from, the high carb, fruitarian, all the extremists that I've done. I think that was the underlying issue. I just never checked it. But when you, biofilms. So I did herbs to get rid of the H. pylori a while ago. I did the matula tea and herbs, but I never did something to actually break through the biofilms. And I want you guys to do some research on biofilms. It's really interesting. But I added in a specific herb this time to help break down the body's biofilm, to break down the biofilms that could be like keeping everything safe, it's a little safety mechanism. And I broke through that and then stacked it with a specific herbal protocol to kill everything off. So I broke through their battlefield, and then I blasted them with all the herbs to kill everything off. And this is something that you really need to be working with somebody with, because herbs are really strong. I will tell you that in the beginning, I created one protocol and it had a lot of berberine in it, as well as oil of oregano in it. And it was way too strong. And I stayed on it for a good 6 weeks. I was on the floor. I was killing off the bacteria so fast. And because I had the leaky gut, all of the antibodies were going through the bloodstream, causing more inflammation, swelling to the extreme, headaches, vertigo. I was on the floor. And during this time frame, I did, by the way, guys, I did go down to lower carbs and higher moderate protein, moderate fats, and the carbs I was making sure weren't coming from anything processed. I just kept my diet, again, nice and simple, but more toward anti-inflammatory now, easy to digest. But I created a protocol, number one, to break through the biofilms. And then I did a mix of herbs for 90 days to kill that off. During that time frame, I supported my body with hydrochloric acid. When your stomach acid is low stomach acid breaks down your protein, but it also kills off bad bacteria in the gut. If you have acid reflux, issues like that, you could be lower stomach acid. So I started an HCL. I got on the enzymes that I used below. I got on like glutamine and a few other things to help promote healing the gut so that I could heal the lining, so that as I'm killing things off, I'm also sealing that lining so not all the toxins are going through the bloodstream. Because you could have die-off reactions, guys. This does happen. And then I was also utilizing a binder and activated charcoal to absorb those toxins to lower the die-off that I was having, because I was having, like I said, I made one protocol. It was way too strong. The die-off was so bad, and I had to stop that protocol, and I made a new one, which was a gentle protocol, and that was the one that actually ended up getting me 100% through the SIBO. It got me to get rid of the SIBO. It got rid of the H.PYLORI. So it got me to the place where I am now. And this is where I'm kind of at, guys. And I'm gonna be doing a new part to this, and I will let you guys know at the end. But where I am now is, number one, I figured out what the underlying cause was, okay? The last year I've been working, I got myself out of the situation that I was in. I worked on my stress, my anxiety so much. I overcame so much last year, and I needed this year to work on myself and to get my mental state back to where it needed to be. Number one, mental health, stress, got that on point. Number two, I figured out that right protocol. It did take, it took 90 days plus that additional 6 weeks to get through the full protocol. And then I took off a month before retesting, because you want to make sure you're off all herbs so you don't have a false negative, and I retested. So I did a full thing to remove the biofilms from everything that I've studied. I killed off everything. I started incorporating different things in there, like the L-glutamine, all of that, to heal the lining of the gut. And now, and I did I'm gonna talk diet in another one, but I did a lot of changes with my diet. And I'm in the place right now where when you do get rid of everything, the bloating, it's gone right now. The digestion is starting to feel better. The pain has gone away. I don't feel that chronic pain, and I know that that means it's getting better. But if I just went back to high stress, not sleeping, eating the processed food, spiking the insulin, and aggravating that bacteria because it was SIBO, I'm in that place right now where my body's very sensitive. It's just been doing all these detoxing, killing everything off. It went through a lot to do that. So I, right now, just been focusing on recovery. The last few months, I've been focusing on everything easy to digest, anti-inflammatory, healing the gut. I incorporated different diet changes in there to keep me from not getting the SIBO back. And then in terms of moving forward, I am going to be doing a modified protocol every few months, staying on point with my diet, as well as retesting probably 1 to 2 times a year, just to make sure everything is gone and I don't get back to a place where I'm so bad that I am like on the floor and needing to do like I let it get bad. I let the stress, the anxiety, I never figured out what the underlying issue was, and it came, but I am so grateful for it. I do want to mention something, guys. Please don't get off, and if you guys are not subscribed, make sure to subscribe. New videos every Wednesday and Sunday. But this is what I want to talk about. during that time frame, I did a lot of low FODMAP diets, low carb diets, high carb diets, low fiber. I tried all these extreme diets, and I would say I see so many people, because I work with people helping them heal from their digestion. And if you guys need help, just send me over an email to ElizabethAylorFitness@gmail.com to see if we're a good fit. But I've helped so many people, and what I see is that when people do these low FODMAP diets, they get rid of the symptoms initially because you're not having that fermentation causing that bloating in the gut, but it's not the underlying cause. And when people get on these low FODMAP diets, they see the symptoms go down. The underlying cause isn't truly gone unless they figure out, do the testing and figure out what it is. But they get so comfortable on this low FODMAP diet, and they limit their food less and less and less. And they get almost stuck to where they're only eating a few ingredients, or else they're having sensitivities because they didn't address that underlying issue. And I just want to really preach, if you guys are there, if you guys are afraid to increase your food, the huge thing is figure out the underlying cause, get the right protocol to first heal the gut and to get rid of everything, but always make sure you do a follow-up reintroductory diet. Don't keep your diet limited. This is not good for you. You're gonna lack your minerals. Over time, it's gonna catch up with you. Your mineral reserves are gonna go down. But also, it's not good to be limited like that mentally and to feel like you can't like go out and eat things and to be scared. If you heal your gut and you do things right, you should be able to eat your fruits and your vegetables and not have these issues. So I hope that this was so helpful for you guys. If you didn't check out 1 and 2, I don't know why you watched this one, but go check out 1 and 2. Again, they are gonna be linked below for you guys. This was part 3. And the next one, if you guys would like me to do this for the next part, let me know below. I was thinking of doing one on basically things that I have incorporated, like different things that I incorporated to keep the SIBO away, different diet changes and things that I'm doing. And also let me know if you guys are loving the gut series that I'm doing right now, and if you guys would like me to continue on talking more about fasting, bloating, digestion, SIBO, all of that. Or if you guys would like to see more of a mix on my channel with some fat loss, reverse dieting, and all of that. So hope you guys have an incredible day. Thank you again for watching, and I just thank you guys for taking the time to do this. It means the world to me that I'm able to just have this community where I can help people. It's hard for me to talk about this stuff, to like bring it up, but I know that if I could help one person, completely worth it. Yeah, so I'm gonna hop off, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. I want to show you guys the tank. This is my baby. Ugh. My baby wanted to make a little appearance. So this is Tank. He's almost 2, and he is my man. And we go on daily walks together. And one thing, I'll give you one tip before I hop off, guys. So if you go on a 10-minute walk after you eat, it helps aid in digestion, it helps with insulin sensitivity, and it's gonna help you burn more fat, improve the digestion, all that together. So me and Tank, we go on our daily walks, and we go on one every single day, and yeah, so